guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you what we loved and what we hated on the Disney Dream.
Yeah, there was a lot to love about the Disney Dream, and the first thing we're going to get right into it were the shows. The show we saw, Beauty and the Beast, was magnificent. Probably the best show we've ever seen at sea.
Yes, the shows on Disney are phenomenal. They are, it's one of the things Disney is known for. It's showmanship and the shows and performances that they have on board. This ship is phenomenal. The staff, the performers, everything is amazing about it. It truly is a magical experience.
Yeah, that's when you're going to want to get there early for us. You get a good seat. There is a line that will form before the show doors open, so get there early, get a good seat. You don't want to miss this. If you're planning on skipping it, think again. This is well worth. This is like a Broadway show, basically on a cruise ship. So that is amazing. Second thing we loved about the ship were the staterooms and the quality of the staterooms.
One of the great things about it, and keeping in mind that we did this cruise with no children, as just two adult people with no kids with us, but I think all of the branded products in the rooms really brought it up a level. I think if it wasn't, they didn't have all those cute, Mickey towels and soaps and just all of the nice little touches with their branding on it, I think make it look and feel even better than it is.
Yeah, and I love the bathroom layout too on this ship because there you just have more space. Mm-hmm. And the rooms did seem very spacious. While it is an older ship, it still seemed very up to date and nice. So we loved the stateroom quality. Next thing we're going to get to is something that I know you loved, which is the thermal suite or the rainforest. Tell us all about that.
It's funny because I hadn't heard anything about thermal suites on Disney ships, and if you've seen any of our videos here on the channel, you probably know we frequent the thermal suite. We book it on just about every cruise that we go on, no matter how long or short, and this was no exception. This was actually a short cruise, and we booked the rainforest, and it was such an incredible experience. We had it to ourselves most of the time, I think because there were so many families on board and they couldn't bring children in there. That probably helped quite a lot. But I think just a lot of people didn't even know about it because they don't go back and tour the spa area, and it's within the spa area. And it was just a magical experience again.
Yeah, I don't think they do a great job of promoting this or publicizing it because we had a hard time finding any information on beforehand. So check out our video on the thermal suite on Disney on the channel before you go. Totally worth it. 100% worth it. We spent most of our free time there on this ship, and when you're at the private island, you have just a beautiful view the way the ship was put in there of the island, and just it's kind of a magical place to be. Speaking of which, the next thing we loved was the private island.
Yes, exactly. The private island is, again, we find ourselves using the word magical often because it's warranted. The water is unbelievable. Like, you're looking out and you're thinking, is this a filter? Like, what am I really seeing this? The water is unbelievable. Then you come off the ship and you hop on the tram and you go to the beach area. You can always just walk to that first beach area, and that's where a lot of people usually go, is to the very first beach cove. That's where you'll be able to rent a lot of water things and just a lot of fun things to do there, also for families, and they'll also provide food there. But I think what made it even better for us specifically on this trip, since we were without children, is that they have an adults only beach, and it was not even close to where the family one was. So you didn't hear a peep out there. It was so quiet. It was so calm. It was beautiful. And you actually take the shuttle, the little tram shuttle they take you out there on, takes you on this old runway that they used, that, was like the runway for the airport of the island before Disney took it over. Just a beautiful experience. It's so great so relaxing. It's definitely get off the ship on that day because you're going to be missing out if you don't do it.
Yeah, and I will say a lot of times when you go to a private island, we've been to most of them now, they talk about the lunch you're going to get there, and it's usually not amazing. It's not just the best. This Disney lunch at the private island was the best private island meal I think we've ever had. So don't skip the private island lunch. It's a full spread. It's pretty great. So that just makes the private island even better. Next one is concerning food also, which is going to be 24-hour room service was free.
And that's really, I mean, so in a time when so many other cruise lines are charging a service fee for delivering food for room service, Disney is providing the service for free. So it's actually pretty amazing that they've got the room service available 24 hours and it's free.
Another one that is kind of in that same vein is that sodas are included and they're at the water station. So instead of having to flag down a bartender or go to the bar to get a Coke or a Pepsi with your meal, you just get your own and it's right there, and it's so much easier. And I think that's one of the really things I dislike about a lot of cruise lines is it's not that I am unwilling to pay for a soft drink or a drink, it's that by the time you get your drink, you've got to either get your drink and then go through the line, the buffet, with a drink in hand, or you have to get your food, go sit down, and try to go find a drink. It's going to be 5-6 minutes. You get back, your food's cold, or you got to wait for someone to come to your table, take your drink order. Well, that often takes 5 to 10 minutes for them to come back to you. So it's just like, can't I just get my own soda after I get my food at the buffet? And it would just make so much sense. Disney does that. It's amazing. The only other real common one that does that is Virgin. Now, I will say those are the two highest price lines, so you are kind of paying for that.
Probably says something, but it does really make a huge difference to your dining experience, especially when you're at the buffet. That's probably the most frustrating one because you have to flag down somebody, and by the time you flag someone down, they've gotten orders for like 4 other tables, and like you said, it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, you're done with your meal and you're thinking, I'd like to go back to my room now, but I don't even have my drink back yet, which has happened to us before. That is not a problem on Disney. You just grab your drink right from the machine there and bring it to your table and you can enjoy your drink with your meal.
Let's talk about the movie theater because it was great. We love the movie theater. And as an added bonus, they do have a popcorn stand.
I thought that was so cool. It was just like a movie stand, and you can get popcorn and drinks and candy right outside the movie theater. And the movie theater was so huge. I love the way that it was set up. It was such a beautiful space. Also, maybe a little too comfortable because you might fall asleep in there. But it was just a beautiful space, and it really, I think, a really good addition to the ship.
All right, character photo opportunities are important to a lot of people. They weren't as important to us, but it did seem that they were very plentiful on the ship.
Yeah, it did seem like that. And not only when they were, the times when they were set, but I also noticed multiple times in the hallways where people would see the characters going to the photo ops and they would stop and the characters would actually stop and do pictures with them, which is fairly unusual because like even at the park, usually they don't stop on the way to where they're supposed to be. But I felt like they did that often. I saw it multiple times with different characters. And I thought that that was really a nice touch to add that because, you only get so many opportunities on a ship, especially if you're on a short cruise.
Well, let's talk now about the things that we hated because it wasn't all sunshine and roses. There were a few things we didn't like at all. I'm not going to include the price on this list, but that was one thing we didn't like. The first thing is going to be our cabin was in the back of this ship. It's a little bit older ship, and let me tell you, that ship shakes like a washing machine.
On the spin cycle.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was like, we're dating ourselves here, but like back in the day in the motels where you put the 25 cents in to get the massage in the bed and it shook, that's literally how it felt. The first morning, woke up, to them, docking, and the whole thing was just vibrating. And I thought, are we in an earthquake in the ocean or something? Like, what is happening? And figured out that it was the ship that was doing that, and it was just so crazy. We've been on so many ships over all of these years of cruising, and it was unbelievable how much this ship was shaking as it was docking.
Probably the worst shaking we've ever had on a cruise ship. So
I think ever.
If you're gonna book a room on this ship, I would do it in the middle or the front.
Yes, go nowhere near the back.
The food quality is not great. Now, granted, we go to Disney parks quite often too. We're not huge fans of the Disney food. It's fine. It's fine food if you're paying $5 for it, but for the price they're charging at the parks, it's just not good food. I just don't like the pizza. I don't like it. It just feels like cafe food, and that's for the buffet. The food quality pretty poor at the buffet. Other than maybe the chicken tenders, those are pretty good. But then the main dining room even too, the food is good, but it's not what you expect from Disney, and it's not what you expect for the price you're paying. The food has never been what I've expected from Disney anywhere, but this kind of holds that tradition.
Yeah, it was actually really disappointing to get there, and first we go to the buffet, for like lunch that afternoon, and we were like, okay, maybe this is just like, the scraps because it's the first day buffet, not good. Then go to dinner in the dining room, and it was it was okay. But like Rob said, it wasn't like, oh wow, this is amazing, this is, Disney food. It was okay. But then go back to the buffet again, give them another shot the next day, and it was like, are you joking? This is really the food? It was just not good. I see so many people say that they like the food, and so I guess I got my hopes up, and everybody's different and everybody has different tastes, but for us, having been on all the cruise lines before, this was actually astonishing to find such a low level. And again, it's pretty much what you're going to get at the parks. We've been to all the parks, not only in the US, but abroad as well. And the food level is pretty much the same across the board. It's just not that great. Wish it was more, especially for what they're charging you.
And then along with that, in the restaurants, another thing we didn't like was they do, for the most part, sit you with other people at your meals, especially if you're just two people like us. They're going to sit you with somebody. Now, you can call or email ahead, a couple months ahead of time and probably get that fixed. Like if that's a point that you don't want either, go ahead and do that. We did not call ahead. This was in the midst of like 6 or 7 cruises we were doing in a row. We just didn't have time with the travel we were doing to make calls and plan all that stuff out. So we just showed up and got what we got, and we weren't super happy with it. So part of that's our fault. But I just don't like the fact that most cruise lines now, if you want to sit alone, just the two of you, you walk up, you tell them, it's no problem. Not the case with Disney because of the way they do their restaurants. You're going to hit all the restaurants, but you're going to be sitting with the same people at every single meal. So if that's a problem, definitely try to make some arrangements.
Yeah, and it's just, dinner for us is always one of those times where we really just want to enjoy the meal and enjoy the experience of the meal. And it's just kind of having to, do the chit chat and stuff with people was a little bit, kind of frustrating to not be able to just fully quietly enjoy your meal and just kind of have your normal dinner conversations.
Yeah, so those were the things that we didn't like. There's not a long list of things we didn't like. I think the list of things we liked was a lot better. This is a pretty pricey cruise though, so it definitely should be that way. Disney Dream is a great ship. I'm sure you'll have a great time on this ship. Take some of these factors into account though when you're booking your room.